My homeroom teacher locked the classroom door, dialed a number, and said quietly into the phone, "He's still here. Come now, I'll keep him calm." And she was looking directly at me when she said it. It started as one of her dumb dismissal games. Last period Friday, Ms. Corvin liked to release us in batches. Anyone who's finished their lab report can go. Half the class left. Anyone who walked to school today can go. More kids gone. Then she said, anyone who's talked to their older brother this week can go. And my stomach dropped through the floor because she knew, everyone knew, my brother Jonah had been missing for 3 weeks. Missing posters with his face were taped to the front doors of the school. One by one, everybody left until it was just me. I asked if I could go. She didn't answer. I stood up and she stepped between me and the door, put a hand on my shoulder and pushed me back into the seat, still smiling that flat smile. Then came the phone call. "He's still here. Come now." Every alarm in my body went off at once. While she waved out the window at the last kids getting picked up, I bolted for the door, got it open, and ran straight into a man's chest. It was my stepdad, Ray. Ray, who'd walked out on my mom 8 months ago and supposedly moved out of state. Ray, who my mom still cried about. He didn't say a word to me. He looked past me at Ms. Corvin and said, "Good work. We're behind schedule." She touched his arm the way you touch someone you're with. My brain couldn't process it. My missing brother, my vanished stepdad, my homeroom teacher, all connected. "Where's Jonah?" I asked, and my voice came out tiny. "In the car," Ray said. "You want to see him or not?" That's the only reason I didn't scream in that hallway. I wanted my brother. Ray gripped my arm the whole walk to the parking lot, tight enough to bruise, and steered me past the back doors to a gray sedan. I reached for the rear door and he yanked me toward the trunk instead. Before I understood, it was open, and Jonah was inside, alive, wrists zip-tied, tape over his mouth, eyes huge. Ray shoved me in beside him and the lid slammed us into darkness. I got the tape off Jonah's face and he was sobbing. He told me in fragments. Ray had grabbed him weeks ago outside practice. There was money involved. Mom's settlement from Grandpa's estate that Ray thought he'd been cheated out of. Us in the trunk was leverage. Ms. Corvin had been feeding him our schedules the whole time. That's why she always knew exactly where I'd be. The car got on the highway. Jonah was hyperventilating and I was 2 seconds behind him. And then something surfaced in my memory. A video I'd watched years ago about what to do if you're ever locked in a trunk. Kick out the taillight. I felt around in the dark until my fingers found the plastic housing, braced against Jonah, and kicked until my heel went numb and the light tore loose. I shoved my hand through the hole and waved at the headlights behind us, screaming even though nobody could hear. The car braked hard. We pulled over. The trunk cracked open and Ms. Corvin leaned in, face white with rage, and told us if we tried anything else we'd regret it more than we could imagine. Then she climbed in with us to hold us still, and the lid shut again. Minutes later, sirens. A driver behind us had seen a hand waving from a busted taillight and called it in. The car slowed, stopped. I heard an officer at the window, Ray's easy-lying voice. The officer asking about the broken light. Footsteps coming around the back. Ms. Corvin pressed her finger to her lips. I screamed with everything I had. The trunk flew open. 2 flashlights, 2 drawn weapons. Ms. Corvin frozen mid-lunge. It was over in seconds. Ray face down on the asphalt, her in cuffs beside him. Jonah and me wrapped in blankets in the back of an ambulance. My mom breaking speed limits across town to get to us. They both took plea deals. Kidnapping, conspiracy, the works. Decades each. At the sentencing, Jonah leaned over to me and whispered, "Anyone getting 25 years may be dismissed." What's the moment a trusted adult showed you who they really were?